Good morning, Vietnam, and welcome back to War Thunder. This is footage from the second opening of the 1.85 dev server. The new update is bringing quite a lot of content. Not only are we getting the infamous pasta tanks, we're getting supersonic jets with air-to-air missiles which now have the proper noises when you activate them, and they can even lock on to the sun. You have some massive buffs to the AH-1Z, given that it can now fire flares and air-to-air missiles, as well as having Hellfire missiles, which are laser guided, are faster than the current TOW2s, and have 1100mm of penetration. Just your standard stuff, really. But I think you've seen enough of the new vehicles and mechanics from other YouTubers uploading War Thunder content, so I decided to instead show off the two new maps. Well, 2 out of 3. We also get a new naval map, but I was not able to get footage of that. The map you're seeing in the background right now is the new ground map, Vietnam Hills. Continuing their trend of making very beautiful map designs, actually, if not always very balanced, let's just say that in terms of gameplay, Vietnam is incredibly beautiful and probably the most varied map in the game so far. You've got hills, you have valleys, you have the seaside, you have rivers, you have swamps, you have the city, you have the jungle, you have ruined temples hidden in the jungle, you have an entire area that is burnt down by napalm. There's even animated water wheels and everything. The detail on this map is incredible, really. Now sadly I was not able to really play against other players on this map, so I have no idea what the map flow is going to be. One thing I do wonder if is we're going to get the full map as it is in Ground RB, given that it is decently large. Even though you have the choice of doing everything, really. You can go from the jungle to the swamp, you can just do tight city combat if you want to, the city is pretty big. But the map itself is rather large, and I'm wondering how they are going to figure out the gameplay flow in this case. One thing to consider definitely is how air is going to play in this map. Aircraft are likely going to have a hard time, given that there's a lot of undergrowth and trees and houses that tanks can hide underneath, giving them some decent visual cover from fast-moving aircraft, especially supersonic aircraft. On the other hand, it's also a perfect hunting ground for helicopters. There's hidden hills and valleys and tree lines you can hide your helicopter behind and be pretty much invisible to enemy pilots, whilst still having excellent view over the battlefield. Especially the AH-1Z, with all the upgrades it'll get next patch, is likely to be even more deadly. The Hellfires are great. You think this current 16 TOW2s are great? The Hellfires are better, they're faster, they control somewhat weirdly, given that they're laser guided, they don't fly straight from your launch point to wherever you're aiming at. They can do top-down attacks. Hell, you can fire multiple ATGMs at once and all have them hit the same target. And this is going to be an issue for the tank, especially around the swamp area, which is filled with low water. You're not really in a danger to drown there, except for one riverside that does lead to the sea, which is rather deep. But most of the swamp area is pretty shallow, so you can traverse it no problem with any tank. Problem of course is, water slows you down quite a bit, and it is rather open. So try and avoid those when you hear a helicopter nearby. I do have to say though, this map really looks beautiful. I'm stunned, pretty much. I already liked Italy a lot just because of the visuals. I know that Italy is a hated map in terms of gameplay, but in terms of visual quality, the map is great. Vietnam might just beat it, honestly. There's great detail in the city. You have motorcycles and bikes strewn around the city. The buildings look crisp and nice. You have festive decorations everywhere. On the pier side, you even have a little village that's floating in the sea. You have the big pillars of rock with bushes and everything up top. Overall, there's just so much variety and detail on this map that I'm probably going to die a lot just looking at the scenery instead of paying attention to the gameplay. Before you head on to the next map, enjoy a bit of cinematic variety. And leaving the hills of Vietnam, we move on to the air map of this patch. Welcome to Afghanistan. This map is pretty much purely designed for the new upcoming Tier 6 aircraft. It is huge, massive, vast. So huge in fact that to go from one airfield to the other, which by the way, the airfields look amazing. They're no longer those little dirt roads that we have currently in the game, which pass off as airfields. No. These are full, proper, big-sized airfields with multiple runways and taxiways and scenery and everything. It's great. The first time I actually got onto this map, I just landed and felt incredibly immersed being able to actually taxi. Kind of like you can in DCS. Of course, this isn't really going to be useful for regular gameplay, but for cinematics, this is going to be very nice. I have a feeling that a lot of the cinematic War Thunder content creators out there are really going to enjoy this map. But as I was saying, to get from one of these airfields to the other, it takes you a good couple minutes even at supersonic speeds. And that's even relatively contained. There's still a lot more area over the mountain ridges to explore. The snowy mountain tops, which do look rather low poly at the distance. The textures don't really pop in until you get a lot closer, which of course is a limitation in order to not make performance be too bad, especially since they have put a lot of assets in the city of Kabul. There's an incredible amount of buildings, which again, air map buildings, they aren't the most detailed things ever, not like in ground forces, but they are not half bad. You can see what resembles clotheslines and clothing. You can see radio antennas and satellite dishes. The roads are pretty wide and long actually, honestly. If you can't make it back to an airfield, you could probably easily land on one of these roads in the city itself. And overall, I'm really tempted to just take a custom battle of 64 PE-8s with 5,000 kilogram bombs and try to raise the entire city. This might be the German in me coming out. Thankfully, the entire map isn't just open. There's actually plenty of low mountain ranges and valleys. You can try and break visual or even missile lock. There's even a little added detail on the easternmost part of the map, where there's a little lake with a dam and everything. For an air map, Afghanistan is not looking too bad, and I'm excited to host some custom battles on here. How it will play out in actual ARB, that is of course something I cannot speculate right now. We will have to wait for the meta to settle a couple of weeks after the patch drops, given that supersonic jets are very new. But given the prevalence of the sun, given the prevalence of hills and valleys that you can fly through, I do have a feeling that this will be a map that can cater to all playstyles. Keep one thing in mind though, this is a rather high altitude map. So if props do end up on this map somehow, it is likely going to favor the nations that perform better at higher altitudes. Now I did mention that there was a third map for ships. Sadly I did not get footage of that. Then again, it's a naval map, you can kind of expect what you see there. When the patch drops and if I'm able to actually get a custom battle going on there with tanks and aircraft and everything, I will, so keep it tuned for that. The patch shouldn't be too far away now. Generally, Gaijin doesn't do more than 1 or 2 dev servers, and the patch should drop within 1 or 2 weeks of that. Especially that this patch is scheduled to come before Christmas for very obvious reasons. So I would honestly not be surprised if the patch dropped at the start of next week. I still have a couple of hours more of dev server footage left over from the first dev server when I streamed it. So if you want to see something specific, let me know in the comments down below. I think I've got some footage of the Italian tanks, some footage of the AH-1Z before the Hellfires got added. Some footage of the supersonic jets, although the some footage of the supersonic jets before they were nerfed. They do have a different flight model now in the second dev server and will have a different flight model at launch as well. Especially the MiG-19 is no longer the wondrously maneuverable thing it was before. It actually compresses hard now at high speeds. Overall, I'm decently happy about what is being put into this patch. Again, I am worried about the game balance, that is for sure, given that these supersonic jets are going to go up against current 9.0 jets. But at least If the matchmaker gets completely broken, I can always escape into custom battles on these beautiful new maps. But anyways lads, this has been it for this showcase. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like. If you're new around here, subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more content coming up, and I might even still do a couple more dev server videos before the patch drops and all of my footage gets rendered useless. All of you Battlefield fans, I am also working on some Battlefield 5 videos. I might even do a Battlefield 5 stream. Or, instead of Battlefield 5, I might actually do a Forza Horizon 4 stream, given that the new update for Forza Horizon 4 has also come out. You know what? I'm actually going to let you decide. This stream is going to be either later today or tomorrow. I'm going to put a poll in the info card on the top right corner. Let me know if you want to see Battlefield 5 or Forza Horizon 4. But that's it for today. As always, my name is MikeGoesBoom, and thank you for watching.
You can lift your head up to the sky, take a deeper breath and give it time. You can walk the path among the lines with your shattered frame of mind. Or instead you could always stay. We can wait right here and play until somehow you can find